Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We're a little bit early, about 30 seconds early. It's not the end of the world. But I just wanted to say welcome to you. We did this a little bit later because I wanted to, we had a lot of people commenting saying that the thing's too early and they keep missing the lives. So I thought we'd do this a little bit later. Let's get a few more people in the chat room. Leave your comments. We had a problem with the super chats on the playback for the last video. So let me just make sure as you're coming in, you're hitting the like button. Okay, we got a great show for you guys today. Okay, so let me just do my little intro. So today, I'm talking to a brother, and I'm gonna bring him on in a second. But let me just give you the lowdown. So I've known this guy for over 20 years. He's somebody who spent a long period of his life, nearly 15 years living in Canada. He's been working in Canada, grafting, and then he decided to move back to a place in West Africa, which I'll let him, well, Western Africa, technically, not actually West Africa. I'll let him tell you about that. But he decided to move back because, like many of us African people who live in the West, he quickly realized that, you know, the rat race, chasing the rat race is not something that you want to do. So anyway, this brother was able to figure something out, and he moved back, and he's made a success out of his business. But I'm sure he'll be able to tell you a little bit more about that. So without further ado, my brother, Mukhtar Diaby, or Diaby Mukhtar. What's up, bro? How you doing, my brother?
What's going on, Mr. Well, I'm good, and you?
I'm well, man. I'm well. So first things first, let me ask you, what's the situation with the coronavirus over where you are right now?
Oh man, Corona. Well, it's stressful. Businesses are down. Everything is basically down. But we had to adjust. You have to adjust. For my business, it went down because we deal mostly with countries in Africa, people from Europe. So dealing with that aspect is a little bit difficult because borders are closed. Client can actually come down and see the product from themselves or whatnot. But we've been adjusting to satisfy the customer by any means necessary.
So first things first, start us off by telling us where you from originally. Where do you come from? Yeah, originally, where have you lived, and then of course where you studied and where you grew up, etc.
I can give you a long list. I was born in Cameroon. I'm originally from Guinea. Moved to Togo when I was about 6 or 7 years old. Did most of my studies there, BSL. And from there, just moved to Canada for more studies, did college and university. So spent about 13 years in Canada. And now I'm back home. I'm back in the homeland.
So, but tell me, Canada is a you know, fairly functional country. It's not quite the United States of America. A lot of people, you know, it's a sparsely populated country. You know, people will ask the question, why would you get up after 13 years and leave Canada? What's the reason for that?
It had nothing to do with ratio, not as much as America, especially what's going on nowadays. But for me, it was more spiritual, and then loss of my mom, and wanted to start a business in Africa and help people create jobs and get back in touch with a homeland, build something home. So that was mostly what it was for me.
So what were you doing back in Canada? What kind of work were you doing? You studied?
An entrepreneur.
And then... Okay.
An entrepreneur. I was doing marketing. I rented a club, and I was hosting parties.
Wow.
Very successful. I could have stayed and have a share in the company, in the nightclub scene or whatnot, but I changed. I wanted to come back and started doing trading. Was actually working for an Italian company called Burundi Interfood. So they did a lot of trading. And what actually caught my eyes was one client who wanted to buy a product. And the main issue he has is, why do I have to send money to Italy for me to get my product here in Africa? And I was like, hold on a second. It just clicked. And I quit the company, went to Senegal to actually do my first deal, got in touch with a company, and did about 2 or 3 containers of fish for that client. And from then, I just started working for myself and just traveling, see companies, getting in touch with clients, and then just supply and demand.
And was I mean, before you arrive at the decision to move to a country like where you're gonna tell us in a minute, what were the factors for you that said, okay, I know obviously your mom passed away, but what were the facts? Shout out to Abbas, by the way. Welcome Abbas to the chat room. Thank you. Hit the like button as you come in. But yeah, your mom passed away, of course. We know that. Very sad to hear that. A lot of us who live in the West and our parents live back home, this is something that always tends to bring us back at some point. But your family lives in Lomé, right?
Yeah.
So what is it about what is it about I mean, initially you went back to Togo, right? First of all, to start business.
Yes. I was in Togo for about 3 years, 4 years. I stayed in Togo and reconnected with family. We are into import and export of clothing, and I wanted to branch out. So I actually we opened up a yogurt factory called Mamale, 100% natural, 100% local. So creating jobs, people in Togo right now as we speak. My sister is managing the company. So I just do the marketing part of it. But working with family is great. A lot of people hate working with family, but you have to work with family. You have to start working with family. And then moving back home is good, man. It's good.
Actually started the business that you were doing, the yogurt factory. You had the idea before you left Canada, or you started it, or you had the idea
when I just moved. You have to take the jump when it comes to entrepreneurship. So you can make plans and do everything set, but as you move along, your plan is going to change. So when I moved there, it was mostly to spend time home and be there. But as I stayed, I think it was 6 months or 7 months down the line, my sister made yogurt. I'm like, this is awesome. And from there, and we just started it. We call her Ariana, but a lot of people call her Mama. So I was like, Mama ladies.
Have you got a link or something you can give us in the chat? What's the name of the place? Mamale.
Mamale.
Mamale. Okay, Mamale. Okay. So Mamale, and give me the website and stuff in a bit. But it's a fascinating story, my brother. So I'm curious to know. So you go back, you set up this Kwame Olatunji, by the way, shout out. Thanks for coming into the chat room. Hit the like button, please. Yes, we're well. So I'm just curious to know. So you already knew you were going to go back. You go out there, you spot an opportunity with your sister. You notice she makes yogurt. Yeah. You're very mindful that, okay, if there's an opportunity here. So you guys set up like a yogurt bar in Lomé. Yeah?
Yeah. We started at home. It's not even a bar. We just do distribution because it's easy, it's fast, and people just want it as they go. So a lot of people that drive taxis or Zemijan, which is mostly known in Togo, they just stop, grab it. It's yogurt, dege, and couscous. I don't know if you know dege or couscous, but a lot of it you can find in Mali, Ivory Coast, even in Ghana, actually, some places have it. So just started a company with her. Just wanted to open up a business with family and have it running. So that was the idea behind that. And from there, I branched out to trading. Like I say, working with an Italian company and giving it up and just started my own trading company, which is what I'm still doing here in Morocco. So a lot of supplies here.
So this is the part that so you're in Lome for how long exactly before you decide to
For,
move where you are?
sorry, can you repeat that again?
So you're currently you're in Western Sahara, which is technically part of Morocco.
Yeah.
So how long were you in Lome before you decided to move there, and also what made you move there in the first place?
Firstly was getting married here in Morocco. Me and my
Okay.
wife, we fell in love with the country and the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And on our last trip, we were, I believe, in Tangier or Essaouira, and
Mm.
she was leaving back and going back to Canada. And I was about to leave. A client called me. I was like, I'm looking for fish from Morocco, knowing that I was already in Morocco. So I had to do my research to see which cities in Morocco produces the most fish and the better quality.
Mm.
And they told me Casablanca. At the airport, I asked the lady the same question, and she told me Dakhla. And I just searched on my phone Dakhla and saw the place. I see kite surfing, beaches, and factories as well, which was the main thing. And I just
Mm.
changed my flight and came here. And I've been here for almost 2 years now.
Mm. So you met your wife in Canada or in Lome?
Yes. No, no, I met my wife in Canada when I was going to college
Okay.
and kept in contact, got married 4 years ago.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so how is the you speak French obviously, um,
Yes, sir.
which isn't a problem. Western Sahara they speak French as well. Is that correct? West Morocco technically.
This, yeah, they speak French, mostly Arabic, like anywhere in Morocco, but they have their own, they have their own language that they call Sahrawi. Same dialect, but trying to learn a little bit of Arabic as well, add it to my profile, my portfolio. So it should be all right. It should be good.
So is it a country that you? I mean, what kind of people generally come to? You're in what city? What's the name of the city that you're in?
Dakhla.
Dakhla. Dakhla. So what
Yep.
sort of people? What sort of is it very like tourist friendly? What's the deal with the place there? Is it somewhere where people can move back, can visit on a holiday? Because from what I have heard, the little I have heard about the country, Western Sahara in particular, is that there's this situation going on. There's this conflict that they have with Morocco. That's all I've ever heard about the place. So a lot. I'm sure there's some people that will be like, "What's so? Is it somewhere that I can live?" But just I know you were telling me some stuff on offline. What kind of people actually go out there?
International, it's multicultural. You have people from Europe, people from America. I've even met some people from Canada. Dakhla is growing. In the past 10 years, they have grown so much that it's actually known for the number one spot for kite surfing. So a lot of people that come here is to surf and just to enjoy the scene. You can go to the deserts where it's hard to explain, just the beautiful view and the people are friendly. You're going to see on the main thing you're going to see is politics and whatnot about Sahrawi and the Moroccan. But other than that, is great atmosphere, peace, which is what we actually ask for, peace. And it's great. It's just a great weather and great atmosphere. It's not as sightseeing as other cities in Morocco. But if you're looking for calm, relax by the beach, walk around, and just go to the desert and relax, it's a perfect city.
Okay, so just first things first, couple shout outs, Montgomery, Bino, thank you very much. My mom's in the chat room as well. um, Make sure you hit the like button as you come in, everybody. So just to recap for those of you just coming in, so Mukhtar basically is an entrepreneur. Spent 13 years in Canada. Went out to Lome, unfortunately, to bury his mom. Spotted a business opportunity there with his sister who makes yogurt. They set up a business. When they set up the business, they started doing started packaging yogurt and selling it to various types of people over there in Lomé. He went out to Canada. I'm sorry, he went out to Morocco, and then eventually was interested in seafood. He goes out to. They tell him the best seafood is found in Dakhla, which is in Western Sahara, which is under Moroccan control. He's gone out there with his spouse, and he's been loving it ever since. Shout out to Valerie. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you hit the like button as you're coming in. So Mukhtar, a lot of the people,
yes, sir.
A lot of the people that you said go out there are people who are international. So people who are, surfers and stuff like that. Generally, what's the living conditions like there? I'm assuming it's safe and everything, but cost of living, what's it like over there?
It's cheap. It's cheap compared to, actually, yes, it's much cheaper than the bigger cities. But here in Dakhla, you can find a 1-bedroom, toilet, living room for about €100. But if you were looking for the city, that would be double. That would be like 200 euros. And food-wise, everything is basically cheap here, especially the fish. They produce the most fish. I think after Casablanca, they are the second producers or the first. I have to double check on that. But the living expense is reasonable. It's pretty much reasonable.
Is because when you say 100, are we talking like central part of town, or this is in the suburbs, like 100 a month? Is that a month you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, a month.
Okay.
I live right downtown, and I'm paying 100 euros a month.
Really? So you're
Yes.
downtown near the beach and everything like that?
I'm like 10 minutes walk from the beach.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like a modern apartment, that type of thing.
Modern apartment, well renovated, and yeah, 100 euros, 150 euros maximum. You have a good apartment to live. So living expenses here compared to all the cities. Well, I wouldn't say that I've visited all the cities in Morocco, but most of the cities in Morocco, Dakhla is pretty much cheaper.
Mm-hmm. I get a lot. I've been to Morocco a few times. My wife goes a lot more than me, but I've been to even the south of Morocco, to Houribga, which is like near the Sahara. And
okay.
Morocco, the vibe in Morocco is always, it's like, I live in the UK. In the UK, people go to Morocco all the time. At least they did before the coronavirus. People always going to Morocco.
Yeah.
But I noticed that Morocco, for African people who live in Western Africa, southern, south of Morocco, it just doesn't seem like the type of place that's very, that likes us too much. What's yeah, go on.
What you have to take into consideration as well is a lot of our brothers and sisters who come to Morocco is just to cross and try and go to Europe. And I hate that, because there's so much you can do where you're from. You don't need so much money to start a business. The amount of money you're going to invest in trying to go abroad, you can just take that money and start something small. But a lot of people don't see it that way. And people residing in Morocco, when they always hear in the news, this is going on, migrant trying to cross, especially in Tangier, I actually had a bad experience where some guy thought I was one of those people who were trying to cross. And just the vibe, like, you're absolutely right. Some cities you're going to go to, they're not going to be as friendly as you expect them to be. But if you have the intention of coming and working and building friends and just living your life, you'll be fine. Nobody's going to bother you or whatsoever.
And it's generally, again, like you said, because you can also go on holiday there and not experience any of that if you're in the right places. I get it. I get what you mean. But what's the general Western Sahara? Is that largely black? Because it's quite like close to like Mauritania, Senegal. Is it mostly black people there?
They are mostly black people, and then a lot of them are actually they are rooted from Mauritania. So a lot
Right.
of them back in the day, their father or grandfather or great grandfather migrated to Dakhla, and then they were given a piece of land. And I
Mm,
believe the king as well was pushing people from central Morocco to move here.
mm,
So was giving them piece of land and then monthly salary or something. But it's starting to get multicultural. So a
mm.
lot of Moroccan from sorry, when I talk about this, is they consider themselves Sahrawi and then Moroccan and Moroccan. So you have a lot of Moroccan people coming to Dakhla and setting up their businesses or just coming to visit. So it's an eye opening because when they come here and they see the environment and then the beach and the living expense, food expense, a lot of people move to Dakhla. So it's starting to get popular.
And it's the kind of thing where prior to this coronavirus, it would have been something which the this time around, summertime is coming. A lot of people are going out there for surfing and stuff like that. Yeah,
Definitely peak season.
peak season.
Restaurants are running, hotels are full, the business is running, even suppliers even come down just to stay for a month. Well, their business trip will only take 2 days, 3 days. They stay for a month just to enjoy the sunshine, the beach, the environment,
Mm,
and just to relax.
mm,
So if you're looking to relax and work at the same time, why not Dakhla?
mm.
Oh, why not Africa, period, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Why not? Let me ask you. So you gave us a little bit of what you do. Describe your
Mhm.
business day to day. How did you get into? You talked a little bit about it, but how did you get into the business that you do, and how does it work for you?
For me, all I need is a phone and a computer. So, like I said, I started with working with Italian company who trades in fish. And as client wanted to buy the product from Africa, but didn't want to send his money to Italy to be able to get his fish from Africa. So I decided to quit the company and be his middleman, send the money to my account. I go and see the supplier, buy the product from him, load it up, check the quality, and then send to the client. So being the middleman, trading in the fish company is good because most of my clients know me personally, and they know I like to work. I want send them a product that they won't like, and I wouldn't send a product to a client that if I'm not satisfied with. So just being the middleman and supplying demand and keeping the quality. So that's how I started with most African buyers. And then getting here, I met a lot of people from Europe that can communicate in French. So me being the interpreter from their first transaction. And then second time when they want something, they just call me and I just deal with it as well. So that's where business started picking up.
Yeah, and that's something that you've been doing now for how long? Like how long you?
For is I've been doing that for about 4 years actually.
Okay, okay, okay. And you still have your business in Lome that's still functioning. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so how are you able to? I know you said you only need a computer and a phone, but how are you able to ensure
Mhm.
that it's running smoothly? Do you fly back and forth to Lome and stuff?
Yes, prior to this situation, I'll go home maybe like once a month, or maybe 2 times if I have to. But as for the business in Togo, I have my sister is fully in charge. It's still a family business, so my brother is in Togo, so they're working together and still pushing the company. So as for me, I'm just doing my trading here and just yeah, I go back and forth every now and then.
Mm. And how are flights? Because I know traveling sometimes across in Africa, you especially through Morocco is a good hub though. To be fair, because Casablanca
Yes.
is a big hub. Air Morocco goes through a lot of places. But are you able to get easy connecting flights between Dakhla and Lomé?
Yes, I just have to. I fly from Casablanca. I mean, from Dakhla, I go to Casablanca, and from Casablanca to Togo. But a lot of flights are opening more lines because they see the increase in venue. I mean, of people coming to Dakhla. So Spain has a direct line from Spain to Dakhla. I believe France as well has a direct flight. I'm not too sure about that, but a lot of companies are opening up and opening more lines
Mm.
for direct flights to Dakhla.
Mm. Is Dakhla in particular any? It sounds. By the way, it sounds amazing, but is it in any danger of? Because again, from what I know, if you do any research into Western Sahara, people always start questioning about the crisis. Dakhla is
Yeah,
not affected by this thing at all. It's you don't see any kind of
no, no. What
kidnap.
you see mostly, what you see mostly in the news happens about 40, 50, 60 kilometers away from Dakhla. So it's actually almost near to the border of Mauritania and Morocco, where most of those issues happen. But here in the city, since I've been here, I haven't had or seen any truck rolling around with AK-47 or other, military weapons. But no, it's safe. It's safe where I am.
And how would you compare your lifestyle now to your lifestyle when you were in Lomé? What's the major difference?
I'm more hungry now, more
Wow.
hungry to succeed. Like in Togo, yes, I wanted to succeed. Anywhere where I am, I want to succeed. But when you out there by yourself and you have the possibility to connect with people and build your company all by yourself, I'm more hungry that way. So, by the grace of God, I will.
Yeah, inshallah. What's
Inshallah.
what's the quality of life though, difference wise between Lomé? If you're you got kids, for example, you move back to Lomé versus you move to Dakhla, West Africa, you want to spend six months, right? What's the
Yeah.
difference in if you spend 6 months in Lomé versus 6 months in Dakhla? What's the difference in terms of how you enjoy life? Like what is there? Are there
You know,
opportunities, etc.?
life can be enjoyed everywhere. It's just a matter of how you see happiness. You can't buy happiness. You have to make yourself happy no matter where you are. So, but in Togo, hmm, Togo is great. It just needs more opportunity for youth, spend more in the youth environment. But here in Dakhla, that's a tricky question you're asking me because happiness can be made anywhere, really, no matter where you are.
If you're like a lot of people who are skeptical, I'm in agreement with you. I know anywhere you are, you can find happiness. You can make your and ultimately you should be where you want to be. But if you're somebody who's considering, because last week we were talking to Ernest about living in Lomé, and
Yeah.
you've been to Africa before, and then you're considering moving to somewhere, and Mukhtar comes on and talks about Dakhla, and Ernest talked about
Okay.
which do you, which can you, when I say enjoy, I mean, where does your money go further? Where does your enjoyment go further? What can you do? I mean, what sort of prospect, job opportunities, educational opportunities for your kids? Which one is a little bit more uh, um, conducive to somebody who's lived in the West all their life?
Okay. Well, I can start with Togo. Togo has a better infrastructure when it comes to schools. Like we can talk about BSL, the French school, and then they have ISL, I believe. And there's more infrastructure in education wise in Togo compared to Dakhla, which they're still developing when it comes to the educational stage. So if you have a kid and you want to come to, let's say, Togo or Dakhla, I would say go to Togo for your kids. But if you looking at extending your money, like spend less money and whatnot, I think Togo is best compared to Dakhla, which you might consider a little expensive, but it's not that expensive at all. If you manage your money properly, rent is reasonable, food is reasonable because everything is produced locally or they just import it from the next city. As compared to Togo as well, it's about the same thing. They produce locally, and so it all depends about you visiting both sides, Togo and then Dakhla, and then you make your own choice.
What is the actually we've got a few questions actually. I want to get to them in a second. But what is the if you're somebody who's from sorry, is your playback still on or is that mine? Just mute it or your YouTube playback. Just pause it just in case because I think I'm getting like feedback. Shout out to SAS and Costod who've asked questions. I'll get to them. Please, if you got questions, make sure you pose them. So Mukhtar, what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, in terms of doing business, for example, what have you found to be? I mean, clearly you're in the seafood business, so Dakhla works best for you. But which city, Lome or Dakhla, would you suggest is a more conducive place to do business?
I would say Dakhla.
Yeah.
For me personally, I would say Dakhla because most of my clients, like I said, I deal with people from Senegal, Togo, Cameroon, Benin. So they know Moroccan product is good in terms of quality wise and price wise. And you also have clients from Spain who know Morocco very well. And Spain is actually not far from Dakhla. So Las Palmas is just a couple of hours away. So a lot of those people, they can just come and see the product themselves and just buy and load and go. So it's a middle point. It's a good middle point to bring clients and suppliers because they've heard about Morocco instead of explaining somebody, hey, why don't you come to Togo? But Togo doesn't produce that much fish to be able to import to export. They can only what is it? They can only supply locally. So that's why my clients, when they want a product, I would say clients in general, they know the reputation of Morocco when it comes to the seafood sector. So they are more open to doing business with you when you say you have mackerel or sardine or anything to propose to them.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get to some of your questions. Please keep them coming in. Not too many questions today, but I'm just waiting for a few more people to come in. I think we started a bit late, so my apologies for that. So Mukhtar, first question I have from Costo, who is saying, how is it to build a diamond business or gold business in Dakhla? I guess he's referring. If you could talk about Dakhla and maybe Togo as well, maybe Guinea as well.
I know Dakhla, there's some people who deal with gold and diamond. I don't want to say something about it's not my specialty, but there are people who try and do gold mining. So I don't really have too much knowledge when it comes to gold, but I know in Ghana you can actually buy and sell gold according to the international market. But it's not my specialty, so I can't really answer that question fully.
Next question we have is a security related question. So somebody says, I have a growing security awareness company here in America. What is the process for establishing a presence in, he says Africa, but let's talk specifically about Togo or Western Sahara or Morocco. Governmental process, cultural awareness, and security. So what is the process for starting a business in those places? And also governmental process, I guess he means what's the bureaucracy like? What things do you need to be aware of culturally while you're there?
Okay. Well, the first thing will be to get your permanent residence, or comment ça s'appelle, la carte nationale. Once you have a permanent residency, once you have that, you can actually open your business as long as they see that you're here to invest in the country or the region where you are in. You open your business, and with that, you can use and apply for a permanent residency. But once you first come to Morocco, I know most African countries, you can spend about 3 months in Morocco before you leave. So that's about enough time. And the process sometimes is very slow depending on where you are. So starting a business from scratch, especially the security sector, I don't think you should have a problem as long as you have all your papers in check, and you should be able to start your own business, your own security company without any problem at all. But it would be best to go to the government site and see what are the requirements so you can come with all those paperwork here. And I think the main thing they will ask for is a criminal background check. So if you can have that in hand when you come here, or have somebody that can help you while you're here, it will ease up the process, make it more easier.
Mm-hmm. And how easy is it for a foreigner to get that carte nationale, the national identity card? What do you call it? Permanent residence.
Permanent residency.
How easy is it for somebody who's coming from outside? Maybe they've never been to Morocco, let alone they've never left America, never left the UK, whatever. How easy is it for them?
It depends on if you come into work. If you come, let's say you live in America and you come into Morocco just to work, I believe you need a work visa. So the company that you'll be working for is gonna give you that paper, and then with that paper, you can just go and apply for a permanent residency. If you're coming here for tourists, you have 3 months. But it's not like they actually bother you and say, okay, your 3 months are up, you have to leave. That's absolutely up to you. But if you want to be in a regular paper, have the correct documents and everything, it depends what you're coming to do in Morocco.
If you're a tourist, and you're just coming to tourist, do you get do you get a visa before you leave, or you get it on arrival when you get there?
It depends on the country where you come from. So I know, as for me, having a Guinean passport, I can just come to Morocco without a visa required. I just need to fill out a form online and then print it out and have my stamp once I get to the airport. But my wife, when she came to Morocco, I believe she needed a visa. So you can apply. Yes, she's Canadian. So applied. It doesn't take much. You just need your vaccines. It's an easy process, actually. It's not that difficult at all.
Okay. Is it like Morocco? Is it like going to Morocco? Because I know Morocco has an agreement with countries in West Africa which have like a connection to Islam, but mainly Franco.
Yeah, not only Islam. Is I believe it's UEA. They are part of an organization where you don't need a visa. You don't need a visa to come to Morocco. You can just come, but at the same time, they change frequently their requirement. So it's always good to go to the government website and see what they're required. So you have it in hand, have everything ready before you come to the airport. So you don't have any difficulties at all.
Okay. I've got a question here from Valerie D. She says, as a woman and as a Christian, how would I be received opening a business in Togo versus Dakhla? So if she's a Christian woman and she's coming to set up a business there in Dakhla versus Togo. So if you could talk about the two for us, please.
Well, Togo is, you have Muslims and Christians living in Togo peacefully. Don't always believe what you see on the media. They live peacefully. There's no religion fighting or whatsoever. So opening a business in Togo, I don't see any religious background being a problem. Not at all. Even here in Morocco, actually, Morocco is very religious friendly. You have Muslim, Jews, Christian, all living under the same roof or living under the same city. There's no problem whatsoever.
Of course, because also you have all the people who've come, the tourists that come out there from Europe to surf and stuff like that. So it must be pretty friendly to people from anywhere in the world. But is there a cultural thing? Because I think is there a cultural thing there where women generally are not, because like Islam is different in different parts of the world. So there are parts of West Africa, like Senegal, for example. Women in Islam, it's not really like as strict as some other places. I was in Bamako. It's a very different vibe. Is it similar with Dakhla? Are women a little bit more free over there?
Women are free. It's just a lot of people that come from Europe or America, the type of clothing they wear, those shorts showing their booty and all that kind of stuff. A lot of men don't like that. So you have to take that into consideration when you come to somebody's country and see what is okay and what's not okay to wear. People are not going to insult you, or you're just going to see the vibe just the way they look at you. It's not a look of appreciation. It's just like cover yourself up. But women here in Dakhla, they are free. Not only in Dakhla, but in Morocco, they are free to wear what they want. But they know they are from the city, so they're not going to do that because people know them. But a lot of people coming from abroad, you just have to cover yourself up a little bit, respect their culture as well.
Right, we got a few more questions. Actually, one question from me: what's the nightlife like in Dakhla? What's
Sorry?
Well, nightlife now is gonna be different everywhere, but in Dakhla, what's the nightlife like?
There's no nightlife. There's no party club. There's no club. Actually, you can go to a restaurant. They have camping sites where they have a club type of environment where they play music, alcohol, and food. But if you're looking for a nightlife in UK or in anywhere you are compared to here in Dakhla, there's no nightlife. People just go and relax by the sea or spend time with their families, stay at home or go to a restaurant. But there's no nightclubs actually. There's no nightclubs over here.
All right. Okay. Well, that for some people, a little bit more information, so so it's more of a family place, Dakhla. Really, it's
more of a family place. Family place, fish companies, and just relax mode.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for coming in. Make sure you hit the like button. A few more questions. So next question is from Abbas Koulibaly. Shout out to my brother. What has been your biggest challenge operating your business in Togo versus Dakhla? What's your biggest challenge?
Well, my challenge in Togo, I didn't really have much challenge because I am from Togo. I did. Sorry about that. But Togo, I didn't have much challenge because I live in Togo. So I know the right people. So it's all about networking. But my biggest challenge here in Dakhla was the language. And yes, people are going to tell you that they have difficulties dealing with companies, but it's all about how you present yourself and how dedicated you are and how serious you are. So if you have the right mindset, you're going to have bumps along the road, but you can overcome that anytime.
Right. So I hope that answers your question. So I have a comment. Kofi Asante Weredu is in the chat room. Shout out to you, Kofi. Kofi says, Mukhtar, congratulations, my brother, on your move back to the motherland. Wishing you all the success with your business. What is the business support um, infrastructure. So is there any support from the government if you set up businesses in Togo and in Morocco? And also, if you can just, because some people are just coming in for the first time, you can talk about the difference between living in Morocco and living in Western Sahara. If you can talk the difference, but yeah.
Okay, Kofi, thank you very much. Much appreciated, and I hope everything is good with you as well. But the business infrastructure for Morocco, I can talk about because Togo, I didn't really ask for any help financially or from the government. But for Morocco, I can talk about after you register your business and you open a bank account, a business bank account, and then you've done some operation and then brought money into the system. You can, if you have a good business plan, you can go to the bank and they will treat you just like you are a Moroccan citizen and then read your file and give you an opportunity. And the interest rate is actually pretty low compared to other countries.
Next question we have, thank you for that. Next question we have is from Kwame Olatunji, who is like part of Northern Ghana. So yeah, so I think you answered this question already before. Are there many Black people in Western Sahara? This is a big question for a lot of people because, you know, people want to go where they feel like they don't stand out all the time. So yeah, if you could tell me.
Yes, there are a lot of Black people in the Western Sahara. Sorry about that. Yes, you have a lot of Black people, but a lot of people that come here work in fish factories, which is what this city is mainly known for. So a lot of people working there are from Ivory Coast, Guinea, Senegal, especially Senegal. Senegal and Dakhla have a good relationship. But in Morocco, generally, Senegalese have a good relationship with Morocco. So, but it's safe. There are a lot of Black people in Western Sahara.
Okay. All right. Any more questions? Please put them through. We're going to be rounding up in a couple of minutes. So yeah, I wanted to just generally because I'm like many people. I'm always traveling across West Africa in particular, and the key thing that I always find is how comfortable I am wherever I go, in most places anyway. Just regarding, aside from this coronavirus, just regarding lifestyle, and you know, you talked about safety, but just the lifestyle there is, if you were to pick between Togo and Dakhla, where would you say is the place that would be more conducive to a lifestyle of an African or a Black person, for example? Like, which is more suited to an African style, and which is more suited to an international style, in your opinion?
African style, Togo, hands down. Togo, hands down, because you can go to the market and then you like just see people having their food. I mean, that stands everywhere, and the environment, the culture, sightseeing, going to Palime and seeing the environment and the culture. I would say Togo, no problem. And you also have nightclubs. So internationally, it depends on the person actually. A lot of people that come to Africa, it depends. Some of them, they want to come and relax and experience the country. Morocco, on the other hand, has a much international atmosphere, like Casablanca or Marrakesh. If you go there, nightlife, I think you'll love the nightlife if you go to Marrakesh. But same as Togo as well. So no matter where you go, culture-wise, I'll say Togo, but international nightlife, I'll say Morocco.
Okay, I have a few more questions, which we'll get through. Shout out to Rokia. I'm guessing your name is Rokia. Thank you very much. I had a question about networking. As a Malian, okay, so Rokia is a Malian American woman. She's looking for ways that she can network in countries like Ghana, Mali, Senegal. I know you definitely have. So just to put it in context, Mokhtar is from Guinea as well as Togo. So he has both kind of nationalities running through him. But he also has colleagues in Ghana and Senegal. So her question is, as a Malian American, what are ways that she can connect in countries like Ghana, Mali, and Senegal?
The platform that I'll recommend, hi Rokia, by the way, I hope everything is good with you. But you can use the platform LinkedIn. There, it depends on which country you want to connect people with. And it's a great platform because you can see what the person is offering, what industry they are in. But I wouldn't say do a transaction while you send them money and whatnot. But if they have something that you're looking for, take the trip, go and see the product yourself, and make sure the quality is up to your standard, and then you can move from there. But as for me, the way I was able to succeed in this venture that I'm in is networking. So throughout my life, I always kept a good relationship with the people that I've met or I've done business with. And I know one day or another they're going to travel and go somewhere else. So if you're looking for something, you contact your friend first and see if he knows somebody that has the product before you actually go and purchase the product. Mm-hmm. But yeah. LinkedIn is a good platform to meet suppliers as well.
Mm-hmm. I hope that answers your question. I was going to say as well that for me personally, I am, again, I live in the UK and I travel all across West Africa. And a lot of the times I meet people in various, I'd meet them on a trip, or I'll be given a contact by a very close friend and he would say, look, I vouch for this person. And that would be the person that I meet up with when I go to that particular country. So I think the thing is, you have to get out. You have to really be on the ground to be able to meet solid people. I hope that answers your question, because she says also that the networking culture differs from the USA to Canada compared to African countries. Yeah, okay, so this is another question. She's asking, Mokhtar, do you have any tips on how to, what's the culture like in terms of networking? Can you just approach people, aside from LinkedIn, if you met people whilst you're there and you wanted to do projects with, I guess, how easy or conducive is it to do?
Okay, I can't speak about the USA, but in Canada, it's actually, they have a lot of platforms. So it's about who you know, what you know, and mostly it's who you know. And just ask somebody. You can ask anybody in Africa. It's easy communication. They want to conversate with you about anything, really. So in African countries, it's mostly word of mouth. But in Canada, there's a lot of platform that you can just go through and find a supplier or buyer easily.
But specifically, she's more. I think she's asked. I think I understand that she's asking about Africa specifically. How do you approach people in Africa? What are tips for people who have never, who are not very familiar with how to, because in the West there's a procedure. In Africa, that procedure. What are tips?
Hi, how are you?
What are tips that you have found that help that can help them? Uh-oh. Okay, we've lost Mukhtar temporarily. Rokia, let me just say, I'm not quite sure what, maybe if you could just give me one more comment with the specific question about what you mean, and then maybe I can get him to answer. Hopefully he'll come back in. He's just gone missing for a second. Shout out to Abbas again. Abbas has another question. Okay, Mukhtar's back. Abbas has another question, Mukhtar. He says, with what you know now, would you have moved back sooner instead of spending 13 years in Canada?
should have, could have, would have. Those are three things that I try not to focus too much. But absolutely, what I knew now 30 years ago after I finished my studies, I would have come back to Africa, settled myself sooner. Because being back to Africa, you see a lot of people from America or abroad coming to set themselves here in Africa. There's a reason for it. There's a lot of money to be made in Africa. So I think it's time that we actually build in Africa and build something for the future. Because instead of money going out, why can't it stay back in the continent and let it roll? So yes, if I knew what I knew now 13 years ago, I would have moved back.
Just on that point though, what is it that you feel that you know now that is different to then? I mean, what, because you know it's never you never quite know until you actually physically do it. So what would you say is the main thing that you have taken away and said, oh my god, this is actually, this could have helped me if I, when I first had the idea to move back? What is it that you would say that is a practical thing that you can give people about moving back to Africa, that is something which is like an eye opener for you? What is that?
For me, I actually wanted to jump into fish farming and agriculture. So I actually started a project in Togo. I'm still in the middle stage, not done yet. But we have so much resources in Africa that we overlook it. We don't have the support from the government or from the rights organization to push you through. That's the thing I see with a lot of entrepreneurs that are starting. Adele, Adele, Smiley for you.
It's a little bit of a background noise. Sorry, Mukhtar, one sec. I think just had one more question that I wanted to ask you, but if you could just finish up with the question that she the statement.
But sorry, I got lost in a moment. But what I do know now, yeah, sorry. What I do know now is there's opportunities in everything. So back home, we have a lot of opportunities. We just need to go for it. Don't sit back and wait for somebody to come and give you a handout or money to start something. You can start something anywhere. It doesn't have to be big. It can be small. And by the grace of God, it will be big.
Inshallah. Okay, last two questions. Shout out to Dennis, my cousin, Rooney B. Please make sure you hit the like button, please. It's very important that you hit the like button as you come in, just so we can, make sure that the word is being spread. Just last two questions. Rooney B is asking, it's a personal question, Mukhtar. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I think it does help context. Rooney B is saying, is your wife non-African or black? Is she non-black? Because that could make all the difference in non-black nations. So yeah.
My wife is white. So it's okay for your question. My wife is white. She's been to Togo. She's been to Morocco. We've been to Ghana. She loves it. She comes down at least twice a year. I actually made a pact for her that I won't move back till I'm spend about 5 to 6 years in Africa. So I'm in my 4th year right now. We have a great understanding. She loves Africa. She always wants to stay longer, but due to her work, her being a real estate agent, she has to go back and work as well. But she they welcome her with open arms. So anywhere that we go, she does a little bit of research as well, and yeah, she's totally okay with it.
Okay. Very last question. Thank Mukhtar, by the way. It's been amazing. You've been able to answer every question, and I appreciate that. Very last question, which is a follow-up. How does your experience in Canada help in your businesses back home? How does it help you? how did your experience that you gained in you did marketing in Canada? How did that help you when you moved back to Africa?
Okay, I went to school for e-commerce, so setting up a website, selling things online, and I learned more of the business side when I went to university. So also working in Canada as a marketing director and having the knowledge to be able to communicate with people and being friendly and have all those tools that I learned and coming back home and implementing to the family business, which was actually it was so helpful, creating jobs, helping people find job, and also become a mentor to some people. So I just took what I learned in Canada and applied it here in Africa.
All right. Thank you very much. So that will be the last question. Thank you. Thank all of you in the chat room. Shout out to all of you for coming in. I'm going to give the last word to Mukhtar, but I just wanted to say thank you all. Hope that we answered the questions. We didn't get as many people as we usually do, but I'm hoping that next time people figure out the time adjustment. So last word from you, Mukhtar. Is there anything else you want to say? Is there anything you want to share with the rest of us? Any information that you want to give us? How people can get in touch with you, etc.
Well, first thing I would like to say thank you for having me on this platform. I really appreciate it. And what I want to say to the audience is don't be afraid to make the jump. Don't be afraid at all. No matter what you do in life, you don't want to, like the previous guest asked, should have, could have, would have. Try not to go by those. Just if you have something in your mind, look at the media, but don't follow it truly. Go with your guts and go with your feelings. And I appreciate for having me on this platform once again.
I'm just so grateful that we were able to finally do this. It's an amazing opportunity. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you all for coming into the chat room. I'll be back again next week Wednesday. We'll stick to the same time that we did now. Shout out to Valerie, Rokia, Kwame, Rooney, SAS, Kofi, Abbas, and all, Dennis, everybody else. Thank you so much for everybody who's asked questions. I will see you again next week Wednesday. And hoping that we'll be able to do more